We're at 65 degrees.
Just Cliff Nicholson. And sports with Mark Patrick. 24-hour News 8 continues now.
An Indianapolis police officer is rushed to the hospital after a routine traffic stop leads to gunfire. Meanwhile, the accused trigger man tonight fights for his life. Good evening. It's 11 o'clock. Our law enforcement officers make dozens of traffic stops every day, often not knowing who or what awaits in the car ahead.
This afternoon, during a routine stop, a young Indianapolis police officer found his life in danger, and as our Anne-Marie Tiernan reports now, some say his attire saved his life.
Drop it down. Indianapolis police units converged on this near Southside neighborhood after reports of gunfire. When they arrived, they found a 3-year force veteran, 25-year-old Edward Rickley, down with a gunshot wound to his arm and another diverted.
The officer did have a ballistic vest on. The bullet struck him pretty close to the center of the chest and no doubt saved his life, or at least some serious injury.
Police say it started as a routine traffic stop. 24-year-old Jose Marino was reportedly driving a 1984 Subaru with the license plate improperly displayed. But when the officer asked Marino to spread out on his hood, an altercation began between Marino's passenger and Officer Rickley.
One got out of the car and pulled a gun on the cop, and the cop told him to drop it. About that time, that guy shot twice and hit the cop, and the cop pulled his gun and shot him about 4 or 5 times. There was about 8 shots all together fired, though.
The gun-wielding suspect, 33-year-old Roberto Romero, suffered 3 gunshot wounds to his abdomen. He would undergo 2.5 hours of surgery. Officer Rickley was taken to Wishart Hospital, where he was treated for superficial wounds and released. Marino was apprehended a few blocks away. Now, police stayed on the scene for hours, recovering bullet shells, the suspect's .38 caliber gun, and transporting witnesses for interviews. Residents were shocked this happened right in front of their homes.
And I heard shots, and I just stood back. I said, there ain't no way I'm getting up there.
Now, the driver and passenger are under arrest. Romero faces charges ranging from attempted murder to carrying a gun without a license. On the near South Side, Anne-Marie Tiernan, Wish TV, News 8.
Roberto Romero is in critical condition tonight at Wishart Hospital.
The Matheson brothers from Wyoming are heading to their first court appearance tomorrow to face 97 separate charges, including murder and kidnapping. The charges all stem from the 6-hour siege Monday at a Denny's restaurant, where 1 man was killed and 4 people were injured. Both Tom and Ron Matheson could be sentenced to nearly 400 years in prison. Today, the brothers got a visit from their father, Ron Sr., and Tom's wife, Heather. As he was leaving the jail, Ron Sr. offered an apology and added this.
It is my son's wishes that we do not say anything at this time. They said that they made a full statement of their accounts to the police, and they said that that's all that they want said at this time.
Marion County Prosecutor Jeff Modisette says he will decide in late June whether to seek the death penalty.
Well, on the same day his alleged killers go to court, 71-year-old Alfred Smith will be laid to rest. Today, Smith's family and friends paid their respects at the Feeney-Hornack mortuary. Smith was the only person killed when one of the Mathesons allegedly sprayed the restaurant with bullets. He died in the arms of his wife, Linda, who was also held hostage. Smith's funeral will be held at 1 o'clock tomorrow.
An argument erupted today between a state witness and the defense attorney in the murder trial of Larry Woods. Woods is charged with shooting to death Black-Eyed Pea manager Laura Botts last year. His former girlfriend testified today that Woods confessed to killing Miss Botts, who was pregnant at the time.
It's not that I want him to go to jail. Larry deserves to go to jail. He killed an innocent woman for no reason. He needs to be put in jail.
During her testimony, Ms. Bell got in a yelling match with Woods' defense attorney when he tried to discredit her by implying she lied on the witness stand. The Indiana Court of Appeals was not able today to give an Indianapolis couple the news they needed to hang on to the little girl they've come to love.
Today, the court ruled that there is no reason to keep the state of Maryland from taking Laura Clem away from Beverly and Larry Newman. News 8's Pam Kramer joins us from the newsroom with this update.
Mike and Debbie, tonight Laura is at home with the Newmans. However, it appears that the couple will have to turn her over to authorities tomorrow, and she'll go back to Maryland. Disappointed and anxious to get home to his family, Lawrence Newman refused to comment on the Court of Appeals decision. He went inside his home and didn't come out. Co-counsel Russell Jones returned from the hearing with him. What are you hearing from the attorney representing the state of Maryland?
I have not heard from the attorney at all.
Have they made any demands?
No.
Did you file anything with the Supreme Court?
No.
So what did you have to run down counsel?
It's confidential at this point in time, and maybe after I talk to the Newmans, I'll discuss that with you further.
But when reached by telephone, Mr. Newman made it clear he did not want anyone to discuss it further. Since March of last year, Lawrence and Beverly have been trying to adopt Laura. Today, Newman tried to convince the appeals court that Maryland officials had violated an interstate agreement by not conducting monthly visits to their home as required. But Michael Bishop, the attorney representing the Worcester Social Service Agency, says the couple had cut off all communication with them except by mail and fax. Both sides say they know what's best for Laura.
It's terrible because they got used to the child. The child has been with them for over a year.
What do you think they're going to do next?
I don't know. I have no idea.
When Laura came to Indianapolis, she came with her twin brothers. They have since returned to Maryland. According to court documents, the Newmans were accused of neglecting the boys, but family members say that's just not true.
Pam, do you know if the Newmans are planning to cooperate when they have to turn the little girl over?
Well, Mike and Debbie, their attorney Russell Jones tells me he's advising them to cooperate, but the couple again would not comment on their plans for tomorrow.
All right, Pam, thank you. Pam Kramer in our newsroom.
Well, still ahead on News 8, David Letterman gives our own Mark Patrick a new nickname.
And a local law enforcement officer hits it big on a national game show.
Indianapolis public housing residents are taking a tough stand against crime and violence with the help of the Indianapolis Police Department. I'm Leah Hope. I'll have that story coming up on News 8.
Public housing are many and can be compounded when their neighborhoods notorious for drug dealings and random gunfire get worse.
But now the city is taking aim on neighborhood criminals. Tonight, News 8's Leah Hope reports residents are getting some backup.
Yes, it is scary. And then we have the kids here. I have the daycare and the kindergarten class, so you know we have younger kids, and it's not right for them to grow up in something like this. Somebody can get hurt.
But before that happens, the residents at Broken Burr Trail are welcoming a new police substation into their neighborhood.
They're seen as opportunities to peddle drugs. So we want to make them know, drug dealers know, that this is not the case. Police presence will make that happen.
Indianapolis police say Broken Burr Trail has the highest number of police runs in South District. Now that's a claim that the Clearstream Garden Apartments used to hold before the police substation opened.
Hardly any of them.
Officer Mike Elder considers Clearstream Garden his second home. He helped open the substation here 1 year ago.
Looks like you make some friends out here, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This one especially. I mean, it started off real rocky.
Elder and Officer Haig take routine walks around the complex to make their presence known and to get to know their neighbors.
Do you feel like you're almost part of the community?
Oh, yeah. With a lot of them. I mean, there's still those that don't like us out here, and they never will.
Where's the herd at? Right there?
And their efforts seem to be paying off. In 1992, IPD recorded 720 runs to this public housing complex, but last year, the calls were more than cut in half.
It used to be drive-by shooting, so you have to worry about having to hurry and get to the house and stuff, but it's not like that no more. Hey, since the police station been right here, some of it been calmed down, but all of it ain't gone.
The important thing is first, the residents have to be involved. They don't have as strong of the resident council here as they do over at Broken Burr, so that's going to be the advantage over there.
And that's what most are hoping. On the southeast side, Leah Hope, Wish TV, News 8.
The Director of Public Housing says by the end of summer, police substations will be in all 10 of the family public housing complexes.
Well, a Marion County Sheriff's deputy is sharing his fortune with his friends. Tonight, Bob Warren appeared on the game show Wheel of Fortune here on Wish TV. It was taped more than a month ago, but he and his wife Bonnie didn't tell anybody how well they did. He ended up winning more than $46,000 in cash and prizes.
And the reason I kept it a secret is because I thought this would be a lot of fun for us all to get together someplace, and there was a little excitement there and a little drama towards the end, when I finally got the puzzle. And
when the show was over, Vanna White showed up with a cake. At least he said it was Vanna White. Oh, my goodness.
Well, striking resemblance, yes.
All right. Well, our own Mark Patrick makes his national debut on The Late Show with David Letterman tonight with not one appearance, but 3.
This is good. We have a peek at that coming up. But first, Vince Welch in our newsroom with a look ahead to sports. Vince?
It's been a fun night for the Houston Rockets as well. We'll tell you about Houston and Utah. They played Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. Of course, the Pacers will play Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals tomorrow. And Mark Patrick will have a little preview of that game for us coming up, plus all the baseball highlights as well.
Yeah, That is funny. We were watching some of the taping as it was coming down. Yeah. We have had a marvelous day, really. I was expecting rain, but it really turned out nice, and maybe the 500 weekend will be nice and sunny.
And it's cooling off. Something, a little bonus we got.
Just all sorts of good stuff in the weather department, and still maybe a chance for shower tonight. I'll tell you why in a second.
By the American Meteorological Society.
Having a great stretch of weather, really, now that we're past the rain.
Rain's over and things are looking up.
Ooh, absolutely. Maybe still a sprinkle or 3 this evening, and I'll show you where it's coming from. The high temperature yesterday in the city, a warm 88 degrees, and today we cooled it off a tad, 78 the high this afternoon. The low temperature for the day, 61 degrees. Last night and very early this morning, look out at the airport how much rain we had. Much needed rain, 9/10 of an inch, and the most rainfall that I've seen with our weather watchers around Indiana, over on the extreme western side of the state, Marshall, Indiana. How about 3 inches rainfall there? Well, currently under a partly cloudy sky, it is 64. The dew point's up there this evening, 60 degrees. Feels just a touch muggy, but that'll change. Winds out of the southwest at 6, and the barometer's still currently steady at this hour. Let's go way up in the northeast here. A new local weather station, our sister television station up in Fort Wayne, Wayne TV. No rainfall yet that they've had, but boy, there are some thunderstorms heading that away. Let's take a look at a time-lapse sequence from 11 o'clock this morning up until now. Heavy thunderstorms, juicy, moist air from Oklahoma back up into Arkansas, Illinois, and Indiana. You can see these thunderstorms sporadically through Tennessee, parts of Kentucky as well. Near Alexandria, quarter-size hail reported this afternoon with heavy thunderstorms. A little bit closer to home here, you can see this area. Now, this is a cold front that's in the process of beginning to move through our region, and you can still see some lingering showers embedded in it, and also some thunder showers as well. So that's why I'm keeping some rain possibly in the forecast this evening, as this front has yet to pass through the region. Let's zoom up a little bit closer here. This is Doppler radar on the 75-mile wide scan from Indianapolis, and you can see it's pretty quiet at this hour. Not much is going on. Some current temperatures in the region range mostly, it looks like, in the 60s, although Evansville still 74 degrees. Clear skies still actually over a good portion of Indiana. Here's our weather setup. Here comes this cold front. It's going to work through the state, kick out its showers, and then by tomorrow afternoon, things are going to cool off, and the skies will clear, and it should be a pretty nice afternoon, but tomorrow morning, still a possible shower. By tomorrow afternoon, the rain will have scooted down to the south and the east. Highs tomorrow will range in the 60s to the north, 70s central, and maybe a lingering 80 down over the southern section of the state. Tonight in Indianapolis, variable cloudiness, and there's that shower possible because we can see it there on radar. 54 degrees the low temperature. Tomorrow on Carburation Day, chance of showers in the morning, then partly sunny skies. Cooler, high temperature near 70, the average high 77. Tomorrow night, clear, starry, continued cool with a low in the mid-40s. And on Friday, sunshine galore. But again, the high on the cool side, 70 degrees. And look what happens as we go all the way into the Indianapolis 500. Looks like just a stellar weekend at this point, with a cold front possibly on Memorial Day coming through and kicking out some, maybe a shower or thunderstorm late Monday afternoon or Monday evening. So, boy, some pretty nice stuff ahead.
Keep that rain on schedule. You don't want to arrive any earlier than that.
No.
Thank you, Cliff. Well, you know where Mark is tonight in New York, and Vince Welch is here.
And we'll check in on Mark, find out what he's doing. Of course, we all know he's on Letterman tonight, and also covering a little basketball there as well, and we'll do that when we come back.
Travel to New York to cover the Pacers and the Knicks, and this happens.
Can you do me a favor? Yeah. Can you bring your camera in here and videotape the audience and then just get right out? Absolutely. All right, bring it in here. Hurry. Hurry.
Mark's brush with greatness there. Mark, or Skip, as Dave calls him throughout the show, can be seen twice more before the end of tonight's show. That's, again, Dave Letterman after this program.
Coming up, and Dennis Goins, the photographer, also making a guest shot on the show.
A lot of fun, something that they'll hear about for a long time, and something you'll never forget, certainly.
That's for sure.
And we hope that maybe this will bring the Pacers a little good luck, too.
Right.
Maybe the fortunes are turning around at this moment.
Maybe that's the case. You know, on the Late Show, David Letterman has repeatedly stated his confidence in the Pacers despite his New York workplace. But if Indiana is to make the former Hoosier prophetic, they'll need to put together a better outing than Tuesday's performance. Mark is in the Big Apple and sets the stage for Game 2.
Thanks, Vince. We had an unbelievable time here tonight at the Ed Sullivan Theater on Late Show with David Letterman. And it was more excitement than we could even describe for photographer Dennis Goins and myself as we got to be a part of the David Letterman show. But tomorrow night at Madison Square Garden in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals, it'll be Reggie Miller and his teammates that are on Broadway.
Basically for the team, I think if we could sustain our defense over 48 minutes instead of playing it for 2 quarters, I think we have a shot to win or compete in the game. We can't allow ourselves to get down 15, 16 points and expect for us to come back in the second half. That's too good of a playoff team as well as experience. So, you know, when you dig yourself a hole like that, it's hard to get your way out of it.
I'm sure they do. I mean, they beat us 4 straight times in the regular season. They won, you know, Game 1 in the playoffs. And tomorrow is a very important game. I always feel that Game 2 of any series is the most important game. They haven't did anything. They haven't accomplished anything. They have, you know, they kept home court advantage for 1 game. Now they have to do it again tomorrow night.
What do you do to keep your hair so moist?
See that on any
Haywood Workman will be starting tomorrow night in game number 2, and it doesn't look as if the Pacers are ready to yet call in the reserves. From Broadway in Manhattan with the Indiana Pacers, Mark Patrick. Vince?
Oh, thanks, Mark. Hakeem Olajuwon was presented with the League MVP award before Game 2 of the Western Finals tonight against Utah, and then he showed it was no fluke that he's the MVP. 41 points and 13 boards for the Dream. Utah kept it close until the end, but Houston stuffs the Jazz with a loss in Game 2. Series now shifts to Utah for Game 3. Carburation Day is one of the month's most popular at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A huge crowd and great weather is expected tomorrow as the cars circle the oval for the final time before Sunday's race. John Andretti will start on the inside of row 4 Sunday, and afterwards will fly to Charlotte to run in the NASCAR race that evening. Andretti guaranteed his spot in the Winston Cup event by qualifying tonight for the Coca-Cola 600. Jeff Gordon, by the way, will be on the pole for that event. The Indianapolis Indians lost their 4th straight tonight. A grand slam in the 10th lifts Iowa to the 5-3 victory. Meanwhile, the parent club Reds also had lost 4 in a row heading into tonight's game with Colorado. Hal Morris puts the Reds on top with the RBI single, bringing Larkin home. And then Reggie Sanders does the same for Hal Morris, and it's 2-0 Reds. But look at it. Colorado comes back, and the Reds have now dropped 5 in a row. Well, the Cubbies losing in Los Angeles, 4-2. That one's still in the 5th. Montreal wins on the road, 3-1 the final. New York, 6-3 over Pittsburgh. Atlanta wins in 13. 3 Cardinal homers lift St. Louis past Philly. And San Francisco on top of San Diego in the 6th. You know, when the Yankees are hot, their fans are crazy. Well, their fans are crazy all the time, I think, in New York. But Wade Boggs had a couple of home runs tonight for the New Yorkers, and I'll tell you what, he's hot. 5 homers in his last 5 games. This one was in the 1st, a 2-run shot, and then he does it again in the 3rd, a solo home run. Jim Abbott gets the win, his 5th straight. The Yankees are 30-13. Milwaukee has lost 13 in a row. Wow. Seattle shuts out Oakland. Cleveland and Boston postponed because of rain. Mickey Tettleton's homer helps Detroit past California. The White Sox a big winner, and Kansas City over Texas 8-3.
All right, Vince, very good. Thank you. Up next, the man on the pole at this year's Indianapolis 500 settles a year-long grudge.
Al Unser Jr. takes the annual WienerMobile race to a new level next on your 24-hour news service. Scandal of sorts this time last year. Al Unser Jr. lost the Oscar Mayer WienerMobile race to Q95's Tom Griswold. Allegations of cheating surrounded the event because Griswold started before the drop of the flag.
Well, little Al came back to settle his grudge this year, determined to get satisfaction. It was a sunny morning as the WienerMobiles entered the track at the State Fairgrounds for the grudge match. Little Al made it clear he meant business by winning the pole position.
took it in the Penske Mercedes Oscar Mayer hot dog mobile.
Fans of all ages wished Al Jr. luck and waited anxiously for the race to start. But little Al jumped the starter's flag and sped ahead of Griswold's machine, tires beneath the bun spitting gravel as he and Bob Kavoyan raced around the turns. They crossed the finish line, hot dogs ahead of Tom.
I thought I was going to die.
Oh, I know.
Our back end slipped on us.
We were sliding.
That was it? Just a little? Oh, yeah.
Oh, you let it slide?
Oh, yeah.
We were like on a rotisserie.
Yeah, a great ride. You didn't have to resort to cheating this year, did you? No, I think Tom was just asleep.
After the Oscar Mayer victory photo, little Al was off to concentrate on his next big race.
You've got a career in that kind of announcing. That's very good.
Newsreel.
That's what
Movie
it sounds
tone.
like. That's great. When we come back, just remember, when your baby keeps you up at night, at least you can rock it to sleep.
To bed tonight in peace. Grateful that you don't live in a certain area of Randallstown, Maryland. Ever since last Saturday, a home burglar alarm has been ringing throughout the neighborhood. The alarm began ringing after a power outage last weekend. The trouble is no one is home. Police say they can't go in the house. That would be breaking and entering, so they can't turn it off. And the power company cannot shut off the electricity because of liability problems. The people might have a refrigerator full of food that would spoil. So the alarm will probably keep ringing until this weekend when the owners are due home from a trip to Europe.
Oh, that would be terrible, wouldn't it? Oh, man.
Yes.
That's our news for now. I'm Debbie Knox.
I'm Mike Ahern. For Vince Welch and Cliff Nicholson, thanks for being with us. David Letterman is next with special guest appearance by Mark Patrick. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.